A vast majority of Disney films like 101 Dalmatians or Lady and the Tramp have a particular way of taking complex emotions and compressing them down to be a much simpler display of feelings through animated characters as a medium, so that the emotions on screen will be properly expressed to all audiences and yet still tell such an intriguing narrative. One of my personal favorites that I feel does this concept best, in my opinion, would have to be a movie about a bunch of little classy cats. I'm Stickers, and this is Aristocats.
Naturellement, the Aristocats, which pets are blessed with...
The Aristocats is a Disney movie from the 70s, which means every friend that I have has never seen this movie, which is so great because now I'm going to convince every last one of you to gouge out, I don't know, an hour and 15 minutes of your time to actually sit down and watch this movie. The whole plot to this movie kicks off when this old lady that has more racks than Jeff Bezos and Bill Gates combined decides to leave all the money to her cats, and after those cats pass, the money will be inherited and accumulated by the butler, named Edgar, who then finds out about this change in the will and proceeds to break bad. These are no ordinary kittens, however. They are of the highest class. One of them is Elton John, one of them thinks she's Madonna, and the other one, I kid you not, is a Rule 34 artist. The music in this scene is a complete contrast to what you'll see in the rest of the film. However, I feel it perfectly represents the lives that the kittens have led up until this point, being that more elegant, upper-class style of living, of course. And during this, the Op Edgar is lacing all the kitty lean and taking them to a land far, far away like he's fucking Peter Pan. And when the kitties wake up, they're freaking the fuck out. They don't know what's going on. And then the mom's just like, yo, we gotta take a nap, bro. Like, it is stormy outside. I'm losing my mind. We gotta go to bed. In the morning, strutting and singing down the path is a cat named O'Malley. This is where the movie transitions its style of music from being more classical and elegant music representing the lives that the kittens have led, and steering it more towards jazz and more rugged styles of music that represent a more free lifestyle that might come from a life of poverty. But anyways, as for O'Malley himself, this man is a Riz God. I'm sorry, fellas, it doesn't really matter who you are. O'Malley just has better game than you. It's this motherfucker, he don't miss. He shoots, he gets it every time. He is the motherfucker. We also get to see the ideals on humans differentiate between alley cats and the higher upper class echelon of cats, as our little Aristocats in their isolation to just their one human has skewed their views on humans as a whole, whereas O'Malley has observed so many that he can be very realistic in his opinions towards them. The events following go by pretty quickly, which normally in a movie would not be such a great thing, but it means for this movie that they're able to condense down a lot of events in a shorter span of time to make the overall movie feel longer, even though it's only like an hour-long movie compared to norms now, which would be like an hour and a half. Anyways, O'Malley decides to help them get back to Paris and saves Marie twice from fucking dying because she's clumsy as shit, which ends in O'Malley kind of drowning a little bit and then meeting a pair of twin geese named Amelia and Abigail, who end up leaving them the rest of the way back to Paris, which is nice because this scene really draws out some of O'Malley's character in the sense that you get to see him be visibly like upset about the fact that he is no longer leading the pack, or he is no longer the leader in the group that they're traveling with. And so upon arriving in Paris, the geese meet up with their uncle Waldo, who is the perfect designated driver advocate. This man needs to be put behind the wheel. Throw this man a Bud Light and watch him drive your Ford F-150 into your nearest McDonald's parking lot, and he'll crash into the fucking sign, of course. But during this, Edgar remembers the fact that he left a bunch of evidence of him just stealing the fucking cats and bringing them as far away as possible because the cops are on his ass. And it turns out that Napoleon and Lafayette actually have all his shit because they're the ones who opt them in the beginning of the movie. But bro just straight up fucking raptures Lafayette for some reason. Like, he's ascending. He is gone. Bye, brother. Like, and so now it's night and the cats are traveling atop the rooftops. And this scene is so gorgeous. You get to see an overview of the city from the top down, and it's such a pretty scene, and the art style is just, it's so reminiscent of that older style Disney because, well, obviously it was in the prime era of older style Disney, and it's so stunning visually. It really is. It's a very, very pretty scene. And so they end up spending the night in what they refer to as O'Malley's old pad, which is currently being taken over by Scat Cat and the gang, which are the fellow alley cats of O'Malley. This is actually one of the main points of the movie that I really wanted to talk about when I got to it. But if you actually take a look at the three main cats in this movie, being O'Malley, Duchess, and Scat Cat, you can see that they're actually very reflective of each of the individual kittens. So for instance, Toulouse would be very closely associated with O'Malley, Marie would be closely associated with her mom Duchess, Scat Cat and Berlioz would be the other two that would be matching up perfectly. And the thing about this this idea in the movie is that it's not just reflective within their character designs, but within their actual personalities and the way they interact with things in the film as well. Like O'Malley is a big, tough, scary alley cat, and Toulouse constantly pretends and practices to be one because he wants to really bad. Berlioz plays the piano, and well, so does Scat Cat, and Scat Cat ends up introducing him to a whole new genre of music, which he ends up liking a lot and being very quickly adapted. And then Marie being the one that's closest associated to the mother of the three, they both have a soft spot for romance, and they have a very open-minded worldview that allows them to just be very friendly to pretty much anyone. I'm not sure why the characters were made like this. I think it might have something to do with the idea of seeing the kittens, but also getting to see a more well-fleshed-out version of their personalities throughout their adulthood. Without actually doing like a time skip or anything, just seeing what they could become throughout their personality traits and who they could be in the future, and which is nice for the viewer to see, but I'm not sure if it has anything to do with that. So then the next song in the movie, which is Everybody Wants to Be a Cat, starts playing, and I'm not gonna lie, this shit kind of bumps. Not even kinda, it just bumps. There is a part, well, not really a part, more so a character that is a little bit racist, just a tad, but, you know, given the time that the movie came out, you can kind of forgive it for that, although it is still kind of shitty, I'm not gonna lie. But at the end of the video, I think I'm gonna rank all the songs, because there's some fucking bangers in this movie. And after the kittens go down for bed for the night, they have this really pretty scene of O'Malley and Duchess kind of confessing some kind of feelings towards a more intimate relationship with each other, and like being more long-term with O'Malley around. And it's such a pretty scene because they imitate like handholds and stuff with their tails, and they make like this really pretty heart out of their tails while they're sitting next to each other, and it's such a cute little scene. And it's just like, it's the little things like this about the movie that's just so like low-key romance, that is just so, it's so nice to observe something like that, and it's a little bit of a weird capacity, but like you can feel the sentiment through the screen, which is such a nice vibe. The next day, the kittens finally end up making it home, and Edgar immediately ops their asses, throws them in a bag, and whips them into like a fucking furnace. What the, like, I know this guy wants the bag, but bro, like, what are you doing all that for real? Then there's this epic boss battle between O'Malley and Edgar, where Edgar gets locked in a tiny crate with no air holes and sent to Timbuktu. So whoever's in Timbuktu receiving that package is opening into a fucking corpse. It's gonna smell, bro. Like, what the fuck? And now we're at the end of the movie, where O'Malley gets adopted into the family, and it's like a, you know, a whole little cute ending, and he gets to be like a stable father figure in the kittens' lives, and it's like it's a really wholesome moment. We love that. And so, for the most part, that was Aristocats, one of my favorite Disney movies of all time, actually. I think I'm gonna make another one of these videos on, I was thinking either Cars or maybe Ratatouille, because I think Ratatouille is another really big one that I could talk about, and those are both 3D movies as opposed to the 2D animation ones that I've talked about, with the Goofy movie being the last one, and then this one. So, you know, give me your thoughts on that. Let me know which one you'd rather me do. And at the end here, I'm just going to put up the ranking for all the songs in the movie. You know, personal opinion, of course, but I do hope that you actually do consider watching this movie, because it is just, it's an experience, man. I really do hope you like it, and I'll see you later, man. Peace.
Hey, Napoleon, that sounds like the end.
Wait a minute, I'm the leader. I'll say when it's the end. It's the end.